Hey there, my fellow author. I'm Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer, an old soul kind of writer living my dream as a full-time author and authorpreneur. But I didn't start out living a confident, creative lifestyle. I struggled with the fears and the mental and emotional barriers that so often plague writers at all stages of their author career. But the truth is that with the right knowledge, tools, and training, you can overcome those barriers. I'm here to teach you how I've developed a lifestyle that's allowed me to publish 19 books and counting. Each week, as you tune into the Confident Fiction Author podcast, you'll get clarity on the steps you need to take to advance your writing career. Whether it's developing your ideal writing routine, tackling new skills like dictating your fiction, or overcoming the obstacles life throws your way, this podcast will help you live a more confident, creative lifestyle. Let's get started. Hey there, my friend, and welcome to this week's episode of the Confident Fiction Author podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer, and today I'm going to be talking about how you can build self-trust as an author. I have a story to tell you about something that happened very recently, just this month, as we're kicking off summer and we had Father's Day. Many of you know my father passed in 2012. We still get together on Father's Day, my mom and my brother and I, and usually have a dinner and have a prayer and remember him. So we did that. We actually went over to my brother's house for it this time. And afterwards, we had already talked about and kind of set up to go out to the lake. He has a Sea-Doo, and I haven't been out on it since like last spring. I'm not sure why. Just last summer, I never really got out to the lake very much, but I was wanting to do that and really looking forward to it. So he went out, got it all hooked up. We got out to the lake. As we were driving out there, though, we could see storm clouds in the background, and we were like, no, the forecast, sunshine, it's going to be a beautiful summer Sunday afternoon. It's not going to rain. And so with that thought in mind, he unloaded the jet ski and we got on and went ahead and headed out across the lake. The wind was blowing. It was getting a little choppy, but so far the rain was holding off. We made it around to one side of the lake, and he pulled in, was looking at this lake house that was for sale, and it started raining on us, just light sprinkles. And he was like, "You want to go back in?" And of course, me, sister, I was not going to be the one to wimp out because normally I am. And I was like, "No, I'm good if you are. You head in whenever you're ready to go." So we kind of had this thing, me and my brother. But anyway, I was like, "Nope, I'm good if you are." And he was like, "Okay." So we started to kind of take back off again, and the rain started getting a little heavier. And he's like, "I think it's fixing to get really bad." And I was like, "Yeah, it looks that way." And he's like, "We better head in." I said, "Well, maybe it'll clear up here in an hour or so and we can come back out." And he was like, "Okay." So we headed back across for the dock, and which was just a ways. We were out about 10 minutes. And so we started heading back, and we were passing a swimming area off to the right, and I saw someone in the water, and it looked like he was on a float, and he waved and I waved back, and then he like really waved, and I told my brother, I was like, "Oh, I think he needs help." So about that time, we noticed another jet ski was drifting out into the lake, and he said, "Oh, I bet he's trying to get to that." So we went over, and sure enough, the man had his life jacket on, and he was holding on to a float, and he was trying to swim out to reach the jet ski, but it was drifting away about the same pace that he was swimming, so he was not making any progress toward it. So my brother's like, "Hey, I've got a rope, I've got you." So he scooted back around to the jet ski, and he opened up his own compartment where it's a huge compartment. He keeps his life jackets in there, and he had ropes. So he got a rope, and I was like, "You want me to do anything?" The rain's coming down. And I was like, there was no lightning at that point, but I was like, "Oh, we're getting in a storm here." And he said, "No, I got it." So he got the rope. He turned around on the side of the jet ski, closed his eyes, held his nose, and just fell backwards into the water, just fully immersed into the water, and then popped back up and started swimming over to the other jet ski, which wasn't far. And I don't know what it was about that moment, but it just really struck me. Now, my brother, he is completely fearless, and he's had fireman training, and he's been a missionary in Nicaragua and Brazil, and he's been in other places. He's been in a lot of situations. He's been in accidents. He's all kinds of things. So there's not too much that scares him. He's pretty courageous and fearless. But there was just something about that, just falling off the jet ski into the water just with complete confidence and self-trust, that just amazed me in that moment. It just really struck me. And I think one of the reasons why it struck me is I was like, I couldn't do that. I don't know why. Just mentally, I couldn't just let myself fall off the back of a little boat like that. So he did. And of course, he just to finish the rest of the story, he was able to swim over to the jet ski, tie the rope on, but then he tried to get back to the jet ski that I was on, and I couldn't do anything to stop us, and I was just drifting with the jet ski. And I was like, do you want me to back it up? Do you want me to come towards you? And, by this point, we've got 15, 20 feet between us. And he was like, no, I've got the key. It was still clipped to his life jacket. So I literally couldn't do anything. And at that point, it started lightning. And I was like, oh, this is not good. Get out of the water. We've got to get these guys out of the water. And anyway, he let go of the rope, swam back over to his jet ski, and then went back, got the rope. We pulled it over to the gentleman, and he was able to get back on. And then we zipped over back to the dock, and we were just drenched. Of course, he was drenched from being in the water, but I was drenched just from the rain. So it was quite a Father's Day, and we will get back out there and get our full ride in on the jet ski. It's a lot of fun. But I just was thinking about that story and thinking about what I wanted to share for us as authors of having that sense of fearlessness and confidence. Like, I talk about confidence a lot here, right? This is the Confident Fiction Author podcast, but what are some of the things we can do to reach that place? To have that self-trust, because it's hard to do something. It's hard to write fiction. It's hard to step out there and do an entire draft or multiple drafts or series if you don't trust yourself to do it. And I will say that's when courage kicks in, because courage is doing something even when you're afraid to do it. But one way that I think we can build self-trust is to do the thing. So confidence comes from training or education, taking action, and experiencing success. So I want to talk about how you can do something until you succeed, and then that becomes your building blocks for building that self-trust in that particular area of your writing. So let's get into this topic of building self-trust as a fiction author. All right, so the first thing you can do to build that self-trust and that confidence as a fiction author is to set the bar really low. I know there is this philosophy by a certain author, and really multiple authors, that you need to write 2,000 words every single day, 365 days out of the year, except maybe a holiday and a birthday, but that you need to be sitting down and writing 2,000 words without fail every day, even if your mother is in the hospital, if you are in a car accident, like whatever the circumstances, it doesn't matter. If you are a real writer, you are going to be writing every day, writing 2,000 words or writing for 4 hours a day or whatever it is that seems to be the popular writing advice. And what I encourage you to do, and something that I've done to really build my confidence as a more consistent fiction author, is to set the bar low. Another fiction author teacher that I used to follow, one of the things he compared it to build a habit, build a writing habit, and just really build that confidence in writing, is to really set yourself up for success. And expecting yourself to write 2,000 words a day, every day without fail, you're really setting yourself up for failure, because life happens and circumstances happen. And sometimes we need to prioritize our health or our family or something else that's going on in that season of our lives. So what this other writing instructor compared it to is just making it ridiculously easy. And he compared it to doing like one push-up a day. Like literally, that is it. You don't try to do a whole 20 or 100 or 150. Like, you are going to just do one push-up a day. And it would be ridiculous for you to not do that because it is so easy. Even if you're in a hard circumstance, other things are going on in life, even if you're sick, like pretty much every day you could maintain that habit of just doing one simple push-up a day. And even if it's up against the wall, right? I've done that, like just get on the wall, like do a quote, a push-up, I guess it'd be a push-back. So setting the bar really low for something like that, it just sets you up for success instead of failure. With fiction writing, my super low bar has become my 5-minute fiction habit. And I've covered this in a couple of episodes. I just brought it back out of the vault last week for the this past episode. So if you missed that, go and listen to the 5-minute fiction habit that I developed. And truly, it is one of those things that I have to kick myself if I don't do it, which I do fail even at that sometimes. Like I'm still not getting in my 5-minute fiction, but it's intentional. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But the 5 minutes, when I get up in the morning and I'm doing my morning routine and I reach that point, if I'm like, oh, here's the resistance. I really, do I have to write fiction right now? I'm tired. My brain's tired. And I'm like, you know what? It's just 5 minutes. And even if I don't write for that entire 5 minutes, maybe a part of that's reviewing my outline, or it's literally just getting a couple of sentences down, maybe only 100 words. And that is still being successful. I have still successfully done that just 5 minutes. And that has done so much in the past almost year now to rebuild my confidence as a fiction author and going, yeah, I can tell stories. I can write stories. I can do this. And honestly, that little habit has done more for me than looking back over my 19 books that I've published. I look at those and sometimes it almost feels like it was a different part of my life. And having the 5-minute fiction has brought that back into my reality of, no, this is what I do. I'm a fiction writer. And so setting the bar low is one of the best things you can do to really build that self-trust as an author, because you know without fail, you are going to get that done every day. Now, let me define every day. Every writing day. So your writing schedule may be you write 3 days a week or 2 days a week or 1 day a week. I have a cousin who is having success now as a fiction author, children's author, and I'm so proud of that. And that was her routine for years, is she had 1 day a week that was set aside. She got together with a writing buddy and it was her time to write. And it was just that 1 day a week, but she was very careful to preserve that and protect it and make sure that she got that in every week. So that was the bar that she set, and she was able to successfully do that for years. And now she is a published author. So when I say getting your writing done or getting it daily or trusting yourself to do it, if you say that you're going to write at 8 a.m. every Saturday morning for 30 minutes, and that's very doable for you, it's in your schedule, it's totally possible, there's not going to be other distractions or things that derail you, and you do that and you hit that every Saturday morning, there is your self-trust. There is your confidence of, hey, I set out to do this and I did it. So set the bar low that you can clear it every time, and then you can raise the bar if you need to, but know you can always go back down to that lower bar if you need to. And that's what I want to say. The second point on this is readjust daily as needed or weekly. Totally give yourself permission to say, I'm not going to write tomorrow. I can already see I have a very full schedule. An appointment got put in there that, I just could not do anything about it. And it's now there in my writing time. And I'm going to accept that tomorrow I'm going to give myself permission that I'm not going to write tomorrow. And that is way better than saying, yeah, my child is sick and I've got to take them to the doctor at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And so I'm still going to get my writing in, though. I'm going to do it while we're in the waiting room, or I'm going to squeeze it into my lunch later that day. And then you get to the doctor and you're dealing with all of these things and you are just drained and you reach the end of the day and you didn't do your writing. now you have that guilt over not doing it, and you've actually broken now trust with yourself. So it's better, I have found, to go ahead and forecast, look ahead and give yourself permission to say you're not going to write tomorrow or even the next week. You can see things are going on. Maybe you're taking a vacation, and so you're just going to take off that week. And so rather than having this idea of, I'm going to get up early before the rest of the family and squeeze in some words so I don't lose my streak, and I'm a real writer, I don't want to break my trust, I want to keep writing, you can absolutely give yourself permission to go, I'm on vacation with my family. If you want to write fiction, like that's energizing, that's fun for you, that's great. I'm not saying you can't write on vacation, but go ahead and give yourself that permission to say, we're going to be putting in long days. We're going to be having a blast, staying up later than I usually do. And I'm not going to write fiction that week. And give yourself permission rather than breaking trust. Same thing if an emergency happens and it's not something you forecasted, just immediately give yourself, okay, that permission. Okay, I am going to take some time off here, and I will decide what my writing schedule is going to look like going forward once I get past this initial emergency that I'm in. So that's the other thing with building that self-trust. So 1, setting the bar low. 2 is readjusting even daily if you need to. The third thing you can do is reward yourself. So I talk about having like a calendar, a physical calendar, and stickers. So when you do your habit, say you are doing the 5-minute fiction, you can reward yourself with a little sticker. If you have a habit tracking app that you want to put that in, and it gives you a little reward every time you hit your been building your streak, and so you can see that you're accomplishing that. And so those are rewards. Other rewards, of course, I have to be careful and not go to, I get chocolate almonds now or ice cream. Like, nothing wrong with treats, but with writing, especially if you're building a daily fiction habit, just make sure that your rewards are sustainable health-wise. So it can be a lot of other things. It can be being able to sit down and work on your puzzle for 5 minutes or 20 minutes, or doing a craft project or painting, some other permissions that you give yourself as little rewards. Say you've done an entire week of writing, and your reward at the end of the week, you've already promised yourself this at the beginning, that if you hit all 5 of your days that you wanted to be writing, then on Saturday, you're going to spend the morning doing a pour paint project, which is something I love to do. But just go ahead and set up yourself a reward, and you can have daily rewards like the stickers, and then you can also have like a cumulative award. So when you reach the end of the week or the month or whatever streak that you're aiming for, then give yourself a reward accordingly. And that can be a great deal of fun. That's something we're doing inside my 5-minute fiction club over on Substack, where I post achievement levels, and authors can go in there and claim their achievement that they've reached with their streak or with that week that they're working toward. And that's just to add that bit of incentive and to let your brain know that, hey, we did something good, we accomplished something, and here is the reward. And rewarding yourself gives you that self-trust as well. So don't flub out on doing your rewards. Like, you reach that end of the week and you promised yourself that you would get to work on your puzzle or do your pour paint project, and then something else comes up and you're like, yeah, but I was also going to go ahead and get the laundry done on Friday, but I didn't, so now I got to do it on Saturday morning, yada, yada, yada. Go ahead and do your reward, because that is a part of the self-trust as well. And I say this because I'm really bad about following through on my rewards. I will promise myself, okay, when I finish this project or when I hit this level with my writing streak, I am going to do XYZ. I am going to just sit down and enjoy some art videos, some drawing videos on YouTube, and do a project. And then when the time comes, I'm like, I'm tired, or, these other things have cropped up, so I'll just go ahead and do those. and I don't follow through with my reward. I've learned that I really need to stick with that, and I've gotten better at it, honestly. I've gotten better at going, no, I know I'm going to enjoy that, and it's going to help me with my system down the road, and it's going to help me with building that self-trust. So I need to go ahead and fulfill that reward that I promised myself, and that goes a long way toward building that self-trust. All right, my friend, wrapping it up here and just thinking about being a confident fiction author, one element to that really is self-trust. And it's really important that we build and maintain that trust by setting the bar low, readjusting, and giving ourselves permission to slack off if we need to during certain situations, and following through with our rewards. And those are ways that we can build that self-trust and maintain it. And that is what can really lead us to being confident fiction authors. I hope this was helpful for you as you build that self-trust as a confident fiction author. I will see you in next week's podcast episode. Take care.